Hey, Shalom. Okay, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Okay, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Okay, and salutations and peace and much blessings to the hopeful elect of the children of Israel that are faith-based, that are people of Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian descent, and Israelite foreigners who live amongst the heathen nations, who Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and scattered around the four corners of the earth, that make up that Revelation 7, that great multitude, and that 144,000. Peace and shalom again. Okay, I find this interesting. All right, U.S. sides with Russia and UN resolution on invasion of Ukraine. And that's dated February 25th, but there's recent, 3 days ago, and I'm hoping this don't crash, U.S. did not support UN resolution mentioning aggression in Ukraine. All right. Just recently, they just voted 3 days ago. U.S. votes against UN resolution condemning Russia's war against Ukraine. One of them, and again, let me click on one of these. One of them had an actual photo of, actual picture of all the nations that voted, and they showed the ones that were against it and those that were neutral. And it called me. I found it quite interesting that China was one of those nations that was neutral. And let me show you that first. Turn it against their allies, man. That's the nature of these devils. That wasn't it right there. And I'm still watching that to the right. Let me see if it's just this Ukraine one. Got niggas supporting Ukraine. There it is. Got niggas supporting Ukraine, man. Show you literally how stupid, 2/3 are. Stupid. No knowledge whatsoever, man. Let's see if I can make that bigger. And it's cut off though. You can't really see them all, but you can see right there. China got an X on it. That's like, I think it's the word neutral. But Belarus, Democratic, PR of Korea, Egypt, Gambia, India, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, Madagascar, Mauritania, Mozambique, Namibia, Nigeria, not sure what the MAC is. Oman, Pakistan, Palau, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Serbia. No, there must be all, or either they didn't vote at all. I'm not sure what nothing there means. Okay, South Africa, Syrian, Tajikistan, Togo, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. Salakit. Those are the one to ask. I meant to actually read the Belarus. That's North Korea. That dim PR of Korea. Eritrea, Mali, Nicaragua, Niger, the Russian Federation, the Sudan. These are the ones that are against you and the United States. Don't you find that interesting? Now this is bringing out that they how they backstabbing their allies, literally, man. Where what's the scripture that's in Revelation? They shall hate the whore. Did I quote it right? Yeah, you all know who that whore is. Revelation 17. Okay, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, Babylon, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, and that's Europe, that's the European Union, that 10 horns, thee shall hate the whore. And again, going back to that, they shall hate the whore. Where'd she go? You can see all those European nations are against it. That vote, that was siding with Babylon, which Babylon literally set those people up, man, for failure. And going just to most the common ones. We're F. It's not showing France. There's France. There's United Kingdom. Where's Germany? Germany. Just set them up, man. Greece. Italy. Just straight up set them up. And now it's turning their back on them. Whatever the motive is behind it, but regardless, they, imagine you got a buddy with you that's always, and I've experienced this so many times in the real world. You always, I love you, man, love you, bruh, something go down, we got each other's back, but when it actually comes down on it, you find out this motherfucker just standing on the sidelines looking. I had an actual cousin like that perpetrated, and he's a so-called pastor now. That really, family or not, this motherfucker was sitting on the sidelines when our whole life he has perpetrated himself to be like Debo. Literally, they even called him Debo, man. And when we found ourselves in the middle, not it wasn't me. I'm stuck with him, coming out of BW3s with my wicked ass brother and him, which they were close. They were like can't separate them. That's the type of love they have on each other. But anyway, my brother with his ignorant ass, just escalated the confrontation with some guys he had beef with that were in prison where he worked, and they were released, and anyway, he didn't, with no intentions on avoiding the confrontation, he escalated it, and ultimately, it's my brother, this was before the truth though. Ultimately, I got my brother's back, and the guys came after my brother, and I had to, that's my brother, so we ended up literally whooping their ass, man, and it was 3 of them, and it was, and my cousin, the one they were labeled as Debo, a gangster, the bad motherfucker, was just standing there, man. Didn't do a damn thing. Anyway. Well, anyway, me and my brother ended up literally flattening those 3 guys, man. But this is an example, man, that you got to be aware of. That's why you need to separate yourself from these niggas in this world anyway. And you'll find out that those guys that, I love you, man, that we're family, man, we're cousins, man, we're brothers, man. The motherfucking same individuals be talking about you behind your back, and so on and so on. That's America, man. That's America. That same type of piece of shit that you literally have to separate yourself from. That's that the scriptures refer to it. Let me think. As that Brutus man, when he find opportunity, and I'm thinking of Sirach, he would take advantage of any opportunity he can, man, as long as it favors him. He's that great man as long as you're weaker than him. But those that are as strong, he wouldn't touch them, wouldn't bother them, wouldn't instigate anything with them, whatever. That's America, man. But anyway, I know I was rambling But that's the real world ain't, isn't too far away from your own personal life and personal experiences. If you watch what's going on as far as politics go, as far as, as the world goes, foreign interests and foreign policies and so on and so forth. If you watch the world, you'll see how it may be different as far as the powers and is concerned, as far as the nations is concerned, people concerned. It ain't no different than what's going on in your own personal lives. So anyway, there it is. Just turned his back on them. Let me see. There's Italy. There's, the 10, the European Union. All right. And like I said, it shall hate the whore. Come on. Don't crash on me. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's where it's ultimately going to end, with these nations that are the nuclear powered nations of the EU, of the 10 horns, is ultimately going to turn and shoot weapons and shoot nukes against this whore, man. This whore. Because America's behind, its its weakness. That weakness, the iron mixed with clay, which that clay, it's that weakness where America's behind that. Remember how America was behind the bombing or the sabotage of that oil pipeline from Russia that was it going through the Black Sea? What was that? I said the Black Sea. It's escaping me. It's escaping me. Slock it. They sabotaged that attack on that oil pipeline, and so on. America's behind the economic downfall of these nations, man. Well, that's their own goddamn fault. That's their own damn fault for trusting in the whore, man. That's his own damn fault. Well, let me do this real quick. April 16th, so it was most recent. The UN General Assembly backed a draft resolution that referenced Russia's aggression against Ukraine. However, the United States, along with Russia and Belarus, voted against it. That's actually kind of funny, man. The UN General Assembly considered the resolution cooperation between the United Nations and regional and other organizations, cooperation between the United Nations and the Council of Europe. The document mentioned Russia's aggression against Ukraine several times. It stated that Europe is facing unprecedented challenges following the aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. It's kind of funny how the U.S. is still funding Ukraine. It's still, still shipping what little, but I know there's little money and military weapons. They're still supplying Ukraine and against Georgia prior to that. The resolution also includes reference to ongoing. See, that's a devil, man. Behind the scene, how you see how he's you see how Gad referred to this devil as with a forked tongue. He say one thing but do another. Going to work on establishing a special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine. During the vote, the U.S. representative objected, claiming the language in the resolution does not contribute to progress toward peace. Russian diplomats called the wording unacceptable. In total, only 9 countries voted against the resolution. And there you go, the United States, Russia, Belarus, North Korea, Eritrea, Mali, Nicaragua, Niger, and the Sudan. This is not the first time the U.S. has voted with Russia. Not the first time. In February, as I pulled up before. So, deceitful devil. So here you go with Psalms. Psalms 55:20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. Stabbed him in the back. And hold on a second before I close here. I wanted to do this. I was just out of curiosity. I've done it before, just never remembered. The scarlet beast and his 10 horns all hate the prostitute. They will strip her naked, eat her flesh, and burn her remains with fire. All right, I just wanted to go back and read that in this Psalms here. go. So that's an example of that. It's just leading to, that complete separation. And again, I quoted Daniel, where it's, the iron mixed with clay, where it represent one mighty and one strong and the other is weak, and that's economically and militarily. And it is going to take, just like it will take years for them to build up this American economy to make it what they vision as great again, which this place has never really been great. That's the same thing with the 10 horns. It's going to take years for them to even build up that military might again, which ain't going to happen. None of this going to happen. These nations are never going to rise up and terrorize the world. This is just their downfall, and them separating themselves from each other. That division that Yahushua said he's bringing. That division. This is part of that division he said he's bringing. It's all these precepts is just linked, man. They're all just linked. Let me get this. Where's she at? Let me do this here. It was Luke or Acts. But here we go. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. All right. World War III. It's the whole world. It's World War III, man. It's labeled World War III, the War of Armageddon. And the rumors the rumors of war that's World War III. That's the planet, man. That's the nations of the earth. Suppose ye that I'm come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division. And that's part of that division that's coming. The nations, man, that's going to lead to it. The people that were at league with each other that had, what did the scripture mention? Do you think I have come to bring peace to the earth? No, I have come to divide people against each other. And not just the nations, but and it trickles down also to individuals, man, which is going to ultimately bring civil war, race war, class war, religious war, and so on and so on and so on. So I hope you edify till next time, Lord willing. Shalom.